Welcome back to Breath of Fire 3. We are heading back to Rapala because, well, the frickin' boat should finally be there by now. So let's go board that damn boat and get our asses over to the other side of the bay. You've got to be freaking kidding me now! All of that crap we just went through, all of that crap, and the boat doesn't show up. Something else is wrong. Maybe the boat sank somewhere. Maybe it was eaten by the Kraken. Maybe it's broken. I mean, who the hell knows? But all that crap we went through just for the freaking boat to come back so we get to the other side of the bay, and it's not gonna happen. I mean, you've got to be kidding me. So it gets better. Not only is the boat not coming back after all the crap that we just did, but we gotta go and use the road, but not the normal road. Not the normal road that goes safely around the outside of the volcano. We gotta take a frickin' road that goes through the volcano. Who the hell would build a road that goes through a volcano? I mean, that doesn't even make any goddamn sense. I mean, come on. Obviously, since we're going into a volcano, there's going to be a lot of fire enemies. So, let's stop by this little shop here. We're going to apply Flame Block to all three of my characters. Now, what the cost of this is determined by the level of the character. See, Nina's level 15, so it costs 115. Just take the level the character's at and multiply it by 10. That's how much it costs. And it significantly increases your defense in that particular element or status ailment or whatever, until you take your character to rest. So, if, like, I just shot those characters up with the flame block now, they will stay having the flame block on them until they rest somewhere or they are knocked unconscious. Whichever comes first. Okay, now we're at the road. Now, if we take a left, we can see the normal road that we would be able to take, if not for this stream of lava that just friggin' broke the road in half. So we're gonna go the other way. And in this direction we will find the entrance to a cave that leads through the goddamn volcano. Like, that makes a lot of sense. So let's do this. Now, I went in here earlier and leveled the characters up a little bit so I can get Pico to learn some abilities from the master that I trained him with in the last episode. So we're going to see every character in here has their life bars already visible. because remember, the first time you fight any sort of enemy in this game, you get a question mark there instead of their life bar. During that time, I gained a piece of armor, which not only absorbs fire attack and mitigates them, but actually turns their damage into like a healing effect on your character. So that's why Ryu was healed when he was hit by that fire attack. I have another one, which I can give to Gar. Unfortunately, it slows him down a little bit too much, and I'm not going to use it. And Nina is not capable of equipping that type of armor. It's only for the men only. Okay, new type of enemy. Lizard Man. This is a bit of a pain in the ass, because Lizard Man is not a fire enemy. Lizard Man will also counterattack for most of your attacks that you hit it with. See? Reprisal. It didn't counterattack to Nina, because she used a magic attack, and you can't counter a magic attack. They're not terribly strong, but they are annoying as hell. Especially since they don't have fire attacks. Gotta watch the steam coming up through. Your characters get hit by the steam, and not just your main character, but any of your characters get hit by the steam and they lose HP. Nothing this way. Also, this yellow steam we're about to see. Bam. Oh. Those two got hit with it. If you get hit by this, it puts confuse on your characters. So when you get into a battle, like we're going to see here, characters are confused. This Vulcan is like possibly the toughest regular enemy you'll face here, but it's also it's a little bit weird. The Vulcan will not attack you until you hit it with a fire attack. Now you can kill the Vulcan if you hit it with ice attacks. It'll die fairly quickly, but your reward through Zenny and experience points will actually be, fairly low. If you want to get the big reward for fighting the Vulcan, and this is what I'd recommend you do, you hit it with a fire attack. And when you hit it with a fire attack, not only will it stop defending and start attacking you, meaning you can damage it with physical attacks, it will also reward you quite a bit more, with something like 300 experience points per character. So I'm going to hit it with a fire attack. See, Ryu's regular attack does 0 damage. That missed, so it didn't work. Okay, so let's hit it with Burn. That never misses. And its maximum... it cures a little bit, but it was already at maximum HP. We're pretty close anyway. Now that it's moving, we wail on it. Has a lot of defense and a lot of HP. See, we can damage it now with physical attacks. But it's also going to throw things like the Lava Burst statue, which will do quite a bit of damage, unless you have Flame Block, or in Ryu's case, the Asbestos Armor. Oh, good job, Gar. Thanks for that. This ought to kill it. Reason why I brought Nina along for this battle is because she has the ability to use Ice Blast. She's not a particularly good character to use, but in this case, she's pretty effective. Okay, so let's move on. Now, in this room, there's a Dragon Gene. We're going to want to definitely get that one because it's a powerful Dragon Gene. Not one that I particularly use a lot, but it certainly has a lot of uses. There it is there. How we get to it, though, a little bit problematic, because the entire area is covered with lava. I'm not even going to bother getting that treasure chest until later. I'll get it after I leave the dungeon, and then I can head back in. The easiest way to get there in the way with the least amount of damage is to follow this wall here. Every time you hit that, it takes a little bit of HP off you. the Miracle Gene. What the Miracle Gene does is turn you into Behemoth. It's a very large dragon. And we're gonna use it against this Vulcan. Have Nina cast a fire attack just to get it moving. And then we cast Miracle. And what Gar does doesn't matter. Whoa, look at the size of that dragon. Now this dragon has a very high attack power, and you'll also notice that it replaced all of the characters. So you don't have any help. But its biggest thing is this blitz attack. It attacks multiple times, but also halves your dragon's HP. That's not exactly good, but has a really high HP anyway. So it kind of works out. And since I showed you that, I'm going to restore form and go back to normal so I don't burn off all of his AP. And let's take it down. Still no damage from Nina because she's a wuss. Ooh, 1 damage. Nice. But that Behemoth Gene is really good to use against bosses. It's a decent level with a spell at the end. Okay, let's move on, and the boss of the dungeon is coming up. Okay, we have a boss battle here. There are actually 3 things we're fighting here. The Sheriff, Skellia, and that Grisham guy is the dude in the center. Now, they are fire enemies. There are fire monsters, but they don't actually use fire attacks all that often. So, your asbestos armor and your flame block doesn't do a crap load of good in this battle. Most of the time they're going to do powerful physical attacks like that. Or they're going to... oh, look at this. Okay, we're going to use an ice dragon against them because, of course, ice attacks do a lot of damage. Now here's the one fire attack that they're going to do. Now just spam them with Ice Bolt and Frost Breath. Frost Breath does a lot of damage to all 3 of them at once. Not as much as Frost Claw, but that only attacks 1. And considering there are 3 enemies here, you're going to want to take them all down. Do a lot of damage. Nice. The old man didn't take a lot of damage from that, but he's not exactly the most threatening enemy here. Oh, jeez. Ice dragons take a lot of damage from fire. When I look at this game, and I remember it from my childhood, I don't exactly remember it as being like a very deep game as far as story goes. It's not like I don't think about it in the same way that I think of, say, Final Fantasy VII or 9 or Xenogears or anything like that. It does have a story in it, but it's a little goofy, and it's not what I would call extremely good. Not only is it shallow, but it doesn't have like the kind of deep characters that I come to expect out of a good RPG anymore. Let's take, for example, Ryu. He's a silent protagonist, and that's the kind of thing that was acceptable back in the 90s. Silent protagonist, it doesn't say anything. The reason why it doesn't say anything is because you never want him to say anything that could potentially disagree with the views of the player. So let's say I were a gamer and I was playing an RPG and my main character said something that like I just didn't agree with. He, I don't know, said something in the way that I wouldn't, something I wouldn't have done. And it kind of wrecks your suspension of disbelief. Because you're no longer thinking like, oh, I am this character, I am part of this world. And that can wreck you. That's why it doesn't happen in Breath of Fire 3. It's why it doesn't happen in Earthbound either, the other Let's Play I'm doing right now. But it's a kind of a lost thing that don't really do anymore. I mean, the last time I really seen that effectively done on a big name game was Grand Theft Auto 3, where we had a silent protagonist. Not that that was a particularly deep game either, but I mean they were trying to just avoid an awkward situation with the player. That's not the kind of thing that people like anymore, though. Not to say that a silent protagonist doesn't have certain advantages, but it's just different. In a modern game, we want a deep main character, someone like Cloud or someone like Faye or whatever that guy's name from Final Fantasy IX was. I mean, they were deep characters and they all had voices. This story does have a little bit of a saving grace, and I do enjoy its sense of humor. It's goofy, like with the way the dolphin was speaking, like kind of Australian tone to it. Yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. And the game does occasionally calm down and do something that with a kind of more serious tone, like when Balo and Sunder killed Tipo and Ri, or like, for example, this old man coming, and he was saying some pretty deep shit there. But it doesn't sustain that kind of thing throughout the entire game. Not the way things like Xenogears did. Okay, now all we have to do is beat this guy into the ground. Since the other two are gone, he will actually start attacking. He'll do a couple of things to fight back, but it can help him, really. It's not going to help him. He's doomed. Oh, that rat bastard.
Negative.
Well, we got him, and we get our experience points, and we can move on. Angel Tower is on the other side of this dungeon, so I'm going to end this episode here, so tune in for the next one, and we will proceed to Angel Tower, and have fun.